Hey y'all, I'm Alex, this is Soil Mates of Georgia, and today we're planting seeds. Well, I'm expanding my garden this year, and what I did on a spreadsheet last year was kind of write out everything. It's fairly easy, but now I have 26 different seedlings going in. So I decided to go ahead and do some little toys for me here. Took a note card, I have rectangle ones here. That represents the rectangular planters I have. I have 4 of them made now, self-watering containers. Need to make 1 more. I have 3 that are the mineral feeders that I had from the farm for the cows. Those are the blue ones. I had a couple, or 1 last year going, so I have 3 more to add to it. 1 that's kind of in between, self-watering container I bought, and then 4 just regular pots. So I'm gonna mix all those in. I just like planning. I have an idea what I'm doing before I start, and I'll kind of go through some of that today too. There are a bunch of different ways to be able to plant seedlings. What we've used is these peat pots, or this is what I'm using this year. Susie used them last year. This year she's trying something different to experiment, also with peat pots, but in peat trays. So we'll show you that in a minute when we get to her stuff. But I like to get everything in one of these tins like I have here. These are just leftover from something we had catered. And I keep them and repurpose them, and they become the bottom where I can pour water in here and then feed from the bottom. You don't want to feed the water the plants on the top because they'll end up getting a fungus on there. So what I do is put in all the soil in this is not soil, the soil starter in the pots, and then I'll come back around, tamp them down some, just so there's no air pockets in there, and it doesn't take much. It's just kind of a light touch to push stuff down in there. And then there are multiple ways to put seeds in there. There's not really a right or wrong way because this stuff is pretty easy. So I'll show you what I'm doing this year, and also show you a couple of other options. This year I'm planting 16 different tomatoes. There are 5 different kinds. I'm doing Delicious, Longkeeper, Rutgers, Roma, and Sweetie, which are the cherry tomatoes. And I'm gonna put in 10 pepper plants. I have bell peppers, 1 that's a carnival pepper. It's just a mix, so I don't even know what color I'm gonna get. Last year I got purple. This year we'll see what happens. It's an assorted pack. I have 3 Greek peppers going in last year, 1 more than last year, and I'm also doing a couple of jalapenos this year. I haven't done those before. So I'll show you a couple of different ways, and these that I'm doing are the Rutgers seeds. I'm using the same seed packets as last year on some of these, so hopefully they'll all germinate, but I'm starting early enough that if they don't, it's okay because I'll have time to get something in there. If I don't see them come up in a couple of weeks, because I'm fairly early. Today is February 9th, which is the same as when I started last year. And well, I got 4 on that one. So what I did was go ahead and label the all the pots, these little pots, and then I can come in and just drop the right seed in the right container. So that was one way. I just drop them on top, then I'll come back over and spread it with some soil and tamp it down on that. Another way that some people like to do is come through and kind of make some holes early. This is a skewer, so just a wooden bamboo skewer that I had, like if you're making a shish kebab, something like that. And so you can go ahead and put some holes in. They only have to be like 1/4 of an inch or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. This, to me, I don't like as much. Well, I got it in there that time. But it's kind of, feels like it's target practice or something you don't actually have to hit the target on. Because it is easier doing the first, well, I dropped a couple. And then also, because these are such small seeds, I'm definitely not very accurate with getting them in there this way. And it seems to take a little bit longer too. Oh, got that one in. So I'm putting in, you can see I keep on dropping more than I mean to. I'm putting in 3 to 4, occasionally 5 when they slip, of, I think I missed one back here, into each container. And then I'll thin them out as they go. But this way, because these seeds aren't gonna last forever, I'm only planting Like I said, the most of any variety is 4. So I have plenty of seeds, and they'll expire. They'll go bad before I use them all. So I don't mind thinning them out after if they all sprout. Another really simple way, similar to the first one I had, where you just kind of drop them around, and so the same thing on that, putting 3 in there if I can, and then just push them down a little bit and cover them with, well, let's see, I got them all mixed up. Cover them with what's already in there instead of worrying about adding more later. This is easy because you get good soil contact by doing it that way and press them in there. But as you can see, at least the way I make the mistakes, is since they don't spread around since they stick to my fingers when I'm putting them in, I don't feel like I'm getting as good of a coverage that way compared to the first one I did where, there we go, there's 3, where I dropped them in there and then I'm going to put the soil on top of it. So I think on this one, because it's such a bad job, I'll end up putting soil on top of them anyway. That's pretty basic. Those are the 3 ways that I think are a little bit more very user-friendly, very simple to do. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it, but they all work. I ended up coming back through and tamping down all the seeds a little bit. I just didn't like the way they were sitting in there. And then I come back and just get just a little bit and spread over it like that. Guess I make a mess on the bottom of the pan, which it's fine because it doesn't matter. But if I can spread just a little bit of this seed starter on the top, it makes sure that they don't, they're not too high up. And then I come back in, I can just spread my water just in the pan and it'll soak the whole bottom. I need another cup, 2 cups it looks like. The first one is going to be definitely more that you end up putting in for water because it's completely dry. So it'll suck it up within probably like 10 or 15 minutes. Something good also to remember is that you don't have to water for the first couple of weeks. You really don't need to water until they start to sprout. So tomatoes and peppers have a little bit different germination time. So I have the tomatoes on this side and the peppers over on my next tray. And then as they start germinating, when weather permits, since these are easily portable, I'll be able to take these outside and let them get sun as early as possible after they germinate. And the goal is not to have to worry about hardening them off or them getting kind of sunburned after they're grown. But with about, our frost date is usually late March, mid-April. I've seen it have ice storms in April before in Georgia, but last year I think it was probably the 25th of March or something like that, so we were able to get our plants out earlier. So once it gets to be late March, and I think these are strong enough, and I can see the 2-week forecast that shows me there's nothing coming, I'll go ahead and start putting them in the ground or in the containers outside. But if it looks like there's a frost, I have a lot of flexibility because I have some grow lights in here. I'll get to that another day. And then I can keep them in these pots for a while. That's one of the reasons I like these bigger ones than the small seed trays, because I like that flexibility, but the other ones work. And so on that note, let's go take a look at what Susie has.
Hi, this is Susie. So I'm going to show you how I'm preparing for the spring this year. I got some peat pot trays to put my seeds in. And I chose these because it's not adding to the landfills and it'll disintegrate, and it's a less stressful transplant for the seedlings. I will add the link to the notes below. So what I did was I used a seed starter potting mix, this organic one. I've used this one before, so I'll also add the link to this. I filled up all the trays. I picked my favorite things from last year and then some things I really wanted to try this year. And I felt like last year I just put way too many seeds, so I got a little picky. So I am doing jalapenos, cucumbers. Come see, get a little closer look. Jalapenos, cucumbers, sweet peppers, Cuban pepper. This is supposed to be sweet, like a Greek pepper. Tomato, chocolate, Oh, this is the mini chocolate tomatoes. My friend loves growing this, so these are for her. Tiny Tim tomatoes, just a few of the yellow pear tomatoes, the brandywine, the yellow brandywine, the pink brandywine. These grow really big, so I'm just gonna do a few. German Johnson tomato. This is a baby eggplant. I love eggplants, so I'm gonna try this baby, it's supposed to be smaller. And then the Roma tomatoes, my son Matthew loves to do mozzarella, Roma tomatoes, and some basil in the summer and makes a salad with that. It's one of his favorite things to do with some balsamic. So this is what I have so far. I'm gonna order a few different eggplants. There's a white eggplant that I saw. I just love the taste of eggplants, so I'm really going to make more of those seedlings this year. And this is what I have. I have a little teaser on a big project that I'm working on, but it started with this. In the winter, I was taking care of my fish tanks, and I am a fish keeper. I have a lot of tanks. I love doing that as a hobby. And I decided to go ahead and put some seeds into these clay pellets. And they started to grow into parsley. So in here, I was going to put a betta fish. That did not work out so well. But I figured out a way to not only grow something in a jar, but to do it on a bigger scale. And I've always wanted to do aquaponics. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. So that is something that's coming in future videos. So
that's it for us today, y'all. We appreciate you watching, and hopefully you learned something from this. If you have something to share with us, please leave it in the comments below if you have any other tips. And if you liked it, please give it a like. And if you know of somebody who else might like it, please share it with them. So thank you very much, and we will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.